Hi everyone, it's Angus here. I've got my McLaren hat on. Hopefully, by the time you see this, Oscar Piastri has won the F1 Grand Prix. I'm heading off on long service leave, but before I do, I just wanted to provide a quick overview of what's coming with the 2025 Landscape Report. It is launching on the 8th of July. We are going to also launch concurrently the platform report, the 2025 platform report. The landscape report's in its seventh year. It's distributed to all advisors, regulators, policymakers, major media outlets. We've already seeded some of this with some of the trade media in terms of initial findings. It's already getting great traction through trade, but we've got coverage lined up with the AFR and the Today Show. The report, as we all know, it is designed to lift the profile of the advice profession just across the board with consumers and advisors. It also provides benchmarking, really important benchmarking for advisors and practices. What's going on, who's performing well, who needs to lift their game across different vendors. Now, in terms of platforms, what's included and what's not, we continue to showcase the NPS scores right from top to bottom. That will be shared with all advisors and anyone who has access to the report. With the category breakdowns, of which we've identified 12, so that's going to be reserved for the platform report, mostly the insights. There will be elements where we have identified the top rankings, but in terms of the actual intelligence around that, a lot of that will be actually shared in the platform report itself. Key inputs driving this year's analysis, there was 1,200 advisors contributing, 500 practice heads. So each of them did an hour survey. So if you're a practice head and you also did the advisor survey, that's 2 hours they've dedicated to this. We've captured 2,500 qualitative responses or verbatims. They will be available and also now actually being integrated into Product Rex. And you'll see here in terms of being able to rate the platforms here, so we'll be integrating not just this year, but previous years' verbatims, obviously time-stamped accordingly to showcase to advisors some of the subjective criteria that they're looking for, but where are platforms basically improving over time. And so they may have looked at a platform a year, 2, 3 years ago, and how have they progressed on certain criteria, certain subjective criteria, not just all the 420 features that we've also got showcased in Product Rex now. Probably three big areas as opposed to a list of all the categories that we are going to focus on the platform report that did come out of the advisor feedback this year was the amount of advisors looking to switch platforms. 600 practice heads have indicated their intent to switch platforms this year. This represents about 150 to 170 billion dollars in potential flows, potential movement. Now, not necessarily all in that year. Intent doesn't actually equate to whether that will happen. But what we can showcase through the platform report is the identity of those platforms most at risk or those that have the most opportunity based on that intent. We can also overlay that with some of the Product Rex data that we're already seeing when it comes to comparing different platforms, different pricing. Some platforms have actually showcased new pricing in the last few months. Exceptional intelligence combined with the intent that we're being seen through the advice, the practice survey. The other one is M&A activity. 5% of practices, or roughly about 300 practices, have indicated that they're looking to sell, and 20% are actively looking to buy. So it's clearly a seller's market, but with that comes a flow-on effect for platforms. Risk of book loss, and for those with the opportunity to win new inflows. We will be quantifying those elements in terms of the M&A activity. And also, given Product Rex now has the ability, always has had the ability, but specifically more so doing book transfers quite seamlessly between platforms, we now are able to overlay some of that M&A activity to see what's actually transpiring, not only through Product Rex, but also in terms of the market itself, where around intent. And the third element, which many of you have been calling for, it's been a long-standing request from the industry, is around BDM benchmarking. We're now benchmarking BDM performance by state across 6 key metrics. You'll see here overall capability of BDMs right through to ability to work on your behalf to find suitable solutions. It is actually nuanced in terms of the BDM rankings. It doesn't mean that the top ranked in terms of NPS or different categories or other categories automatically applies to BDMs. Now, sometimes BDMs are saddled potentially with poor performing platforms, either be it from a technical perspective in terms of overall functionality, really does showcase how that BDM is performing against a more statistical, nuanced approach. Do they outperform other categories relevant to that platform? So that allows for better benchmarking as opposed to just platform by platform benchmarking, but internally also state by state at the individual platform level for you. As I mentioned, we see a lot of what's best in breed or best in practice when it comes to training different BDMs. So without naming platforms, we won't be naming platforms, but there is different elements that different platforms do use to elevate BDMs across the industry. The other one that's interesting the other one that we are rolling out to is it's an interactive dashboard to explore historical NPS trends, shifting advisor sentiment over time. Has an advisor become moved from being a promoter to a detractor? What is the quantum of FUA identified to that particular advisor? Now we do anonymize all the practice or advisor details when it comes to that, but it also allows us to understand how much potentially is at risk or what the opportunity is also for your sake as well. We've implemented some AI on the back of this. It's in beta phase to make some of that intelligence easier to understand, but it also allows you to also benchmark yourself over time as to the different areas of opportunity, different categories that are working for you from one platform to another, right down obviously at the category level from a high level data perspective, from a scoring or a category level, but right down to the individual advisors over time. So very exciting. We'll continue to add to this. We'll continue to enhance the AI attached to this and some of the insights. It will be in beta phase and we'll keep improving that. Also, the BDM scores will be actually provided in this at launch. Why it matters, it's not just data for data's sake. I know you get ambushed with lots of data. We are combining advisor feedback, Product Rex intelligence, and practice level intention data, as well as the fund flow intention data. It's not cognitive overwhelm with data where we are aware that there's too much data sometimes within the system to actually deliver actionable intelligence. So we are keen to make sure that the platform report is succinct and where future flows are going to land or will be at risk. As I said, it's going to be launching on the 8th of July. Please, that's alongside the Power BI tool and all the verbatims that you get. There is going to be an early access offer before June 30. I encourage you to take that up. After that, it'll be normal pricing. And I will say, just before I go, this Product Rex tool, we've got some now space available for sponsorships. Please, if you are interested in exploring that, please reach out to the team. It allows you to advertise to advisors in real time whilst they're creating a transaction, a bit like Facebook, a bit like LinkedIn, in terms of serving up ads, in terms of what models are being run and what have you. And it can be very, very personalized and targeted. So you're not actually advertising exceptionally higher price or features that they don't want. So all of that is built into our tool here. It's very exciting. We've been tweaking it over time. But in terms of going back to the landscape report, I'm available, my team's available for board and exec presentations. Please do reach out. Really excited with what we've done with this year's landscape report and the level of data that we now have access to with our platforms, especially in combination with this product Rex environment and also the flow intention combined with a lot of the behavioral sentiment that advisors have been giving us over time, especially in 2025. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. Any questions, please reach out.